Be honest for a moment. How many evenings have slipped through your fingers without you even noticing? You come home after a long day, thinking you'll relax for just a few minutes, maybe check your phone or watch a video. And before you know it, hours have passed. Midnight arrives, your energy is gone, and the things you wanted to do, like practicing English, finishing that book, or working on a personal goal, never even began. Does that sound familiar? That used to be my reality too. I told myself every morning, tonight I'll study. Tonight I'll make progress. But when the evening came, my routine looked completely different. I'd walk through the door, drop my bag, open the fridge, even if I wasn't hungry, then sink into the couch with my phone in hand. A quick scroll through Instagram, maybe a YouTube video or two, and suddenly, the whole evening had vanished. And the scariest part? I didn't even notice it happening. I thought I was resting, but really, I was just zoning out. Let's pause here. Did you catch that word, vanished? To vanish means to disappear completely, almost like magic. Example, my evening vanished before I realized how late it had gotten. Try saying it with me slowly, vanish. That word perfectly describes what happens when time slips away without us realizing. And that's why awareness matters. One night, though, something broke the cycle for me. I stumbled across a line online that hit me harder than I expected. It said, your 9 to 5 pays your bills, but your 5 to 9 builds your future. And I just froze. Because it was true. Those evening hours, the ones I was wasting, were actually the only time of day that fully belonged to me. And yet, I was giving them away for free to social media, to endless scrolling, to shows that added nothing to my life. I was trading my future for distraction. Let me ask you, what do you usually do with your evenings? Be honest. Do you sit down and invest that time in yourself, or does it quietly vanish like mine did? The reason I'm asking is simple, because your evenings are the hidden key to your growth. Not just in English, but in everything. If your mornings and afternoons belong to work, school, or responsibilities, then your evenings decide who you really become. Now, here's where I want to surprise you. Most people think they don't improve their English because they don't have enough time. They say, if only I had an extra hour, I'd practice. But the truth is, lack of time isn't the problem. It's how we use the time we already have. Even 20 minutes, used with intention, can create progress. You don't need hours, you need awareness and a plan. And before we move on, let me share another quick word with you that connects perfectly here. Disappoint. To disappoint means to let someone down, or to let yourself down. For example, I didn't follow my plan, and I felt disappointed in myself. Say it softly with me, disappoint. That feeling of disappointment is exactly what many of us carry when we go to bed after another wasted evening. But here's the hopeful part, it doesn't have to stay that way. Because if something can be designed to steal your time, it can also be redesigned to protect it. And tonight, that's what we're going to explore together. In this episode, I'll share how to stop wasting your evenings and start reclaiming them, not with pressure, not with guilt, but with small, intentional choices. Choices that make you proud instead of disappointed. And all along the way, you'll practice real English with me, so you're not just learning a concept, you're living it. So, let's begin by looking at the trap we fall into almost every night. Do you know why social media apps are so hard to put down? Why you say, just 5 more minutes, and suddenly it's an hour later? It's not random. These platforms are built to keep you hooked. Every swipe, every next video button, every notification, they're designed to capture your attention. It's like a hidden trapdoor in your routine. On the surface, it looks like relaxation. But the moment you step through, you drop into hours of distraction. Here's a clear definition. A trapdoor looks normal on the outside, but suddenly drops you somewhere unexpected. Example, social media can feel like a trapdoor in your evening. It pulls you in before you even notice. Say it with me, trapdoor. Once you understand that, you start to see your evenings differently. you realize it's not just you being lazy. It's an engineered system designed to steal your attention. And it doesn't stop with social media. Streaming platforms do the exact same thing. Ever notice how every single series ends on a twist? A shocking reveal? That's called a cliffhanger. A cliffhanger is when a story ends with suspense, so you feel like you have to keep watching. Example: the episode ended on a cliffhanger, so I stayed up late to see what happened next. Say it slowly with me: cliffhanger. And just like that, it's 1 in the morning, your eyes are burning, and you can't even remember half of what you watched. You only know that you couldn't stop. Here's the problem. We think we're choosing to keep watching or scrolling, but really, the choice was already made for us by design. That's why so many people lose their evenings without realizing it. They didn't fail, they were trapped. But here's the good news. If your environment can be designed to trap you, it can also be designed to free you. And that's where we're heading next: how to redesign your evenings so they protect your future instead of stealing it. So, if our evenings are being hijacked by design, what can we do about it? The first step is surprisingly simple. Give your evening a name. I know that sounds unusual, but stay with me. Most people say, "I'll just relax tonight," or "I'll do something later." That vagueness is the problem. Without a name, your evening becomes a blank page and distractions rush in to fill it. But the moment you name it, you give it purpose. For example, from 7 to 8, I recharge. From 8 to 9, I practice English. From 9 to 9:30, I prepare for tomorrow. See how clear that is? The moment you name your time, you reclaim it. Let's pause for a vocabulary word that fits perfectly here: reclaim. To reclaim means to take back something that was yours, like your time or your energy. Example: she reclaimed her evenings by turning off notifications after 7 p.m. Say it proudly with me: reclaim. That word is your reminder. Your evenings already belong to you. It's time to take them back. Now, once you've given your evening a name, the next step is looking at the stage where everything plays out: your environment. Because here's the truth, your brain isn't broken. The real problem is that your environment often speaks louder than your goals. If your phone is the first thing you see when you look around, that's what your mind grabs. But if you leave a journal, a book, or even a guitar in that spot, you're inviting a completely different version of yourself to show up. Think about supermarkets. Have you noticed how candy is always placed near the checkout? That's no accident. It's called placement. Placement is about where something is positioned, either physically or mentally. Example: the placement of your phone at night can completely change how well you rest. Say it with me slowly: placement. The placement of objects around you is quietly shaping your behavior every single day. So here's the challenge: remove one thing from your space that drains you, and add one thing that inspires you. Maybe that means moving your phone charger out of the bedroom and leaving your notebook on the nightstand instead. Maybe it's swapping the TV remote for a language learning book, or laying out a yoga mat before dinner. These tiny changes don't just decorate your space, they transform it. And that brings us to a powerful principle: make bad habits invisible and make good habits obvious. Let me give you a personal example. At one point, I started uninstalling Instagram every evening at 6 o'clock. Sounds extreme, right? But I'd reinstall it in the morning if I needed it. At night, it simply wasn't worth the energy it drained out of me. A friend of mine took another approach. She moved her phone charger into the kitchen. That way, if she wanted to scroll in bed, she had to physically get up and go get it. And guess what? Her laziness worked in her favor. She scrolled less because the friction was higher. That word, friction, is important. Friction means resistance, something that makes an action harder. When you add friction to your bad habits and remove friction from your good ones, you make better choices almost automatically. For example, she added friction to her scrolling habit by leaving her phone in another room. Say it with me: friction. Once you understand this rule, You can shape your environment in ways that make success feel natural. But let's go even deeper. Because the truth is, your environment isn't just physical, it's emotional. The lighting, the sounds, the atmosphere all affect how you feel and what you choose. For the longest time, I used to work with my laptop propped on my bed, the TV glowing in front of me, my phone buzzing every few minutes. And then I'd wonder why I couldn't focus, why I always struggled to fall asleep peacefully. The answer was simple. My environment wasn't set up for clarity. It was wired for distraction. Have you ever felt that too? You're trying to focus, but everything around you seems to pull you in another direction. That's when it's time to design your space like you'd design a stage. Think of yourself as both the actor and the director. If you set the stage right, the performance flows naturally. Now, let's introduce another useful phrase, zone out. To zone out means your body is there, but your mind drifts away. You lose focus. Example: he zoned out on the couch and barely noticed 2 hours pass. Say it with me, zone out. That's what happens when your environment is cluttered with distractions. But if you arrange your space with intention, you zone in instead of zoning out. So tonight, I want you to try something simple. Don't attempt to change everything at once. Just pick one habit you want to support and make it obvious. If you want to read, put the book on your pillow. If you want to stretch, roll out the yoga mat where you can't miss it. If you want to practice English, keep your notebook or headphones ready in plain sight. It's a small shift, but these little cues matter. Because every evening, your environment is either nudging you forward or pulling you back. And the more you shape it, the more you feel in control, not by forcing willpower, but by letting your surroundings carry you where you want to go. But even with the right environment, there's still one more missing piece. Because evenings aren't just about productivity. They're also about closure. And without closure, your brain never truly rests. That's why the next step is so powerful and so often ignored. Let's talk about something most people never think about: how to end the evening. Because even if you've reclaimed your time and set up your environment, your brain still needs one final signal: closure. Without it, your body might stop moving, but your mind keeps spinning. That's why so many people wake up already tired, because yesterday's tension never really left. Here's the problem. Most of us confuse winding down with zoning out. Maybe you recognize this. You lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background, scrolling through your phone, half paying attention to both. It feels like rest, but really, it's just fading away. And the problem with fading away is that there's no closure. It's like drifting off in the middle of a conversation without ever saying goodbye. Your brain never gets the signal that the day is finished. And without that clear line, you carry unfinished energy into your sleep. That's why you can wake up after a full night in bed and still feel heavy, restless, or emotionally drained. So what's the solution? A closing ritual. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mean another productivity hack or something complicated. A closing ritual is simply a small, intentional act that marks the end of your day. It's like drawing a curtain after a performance, or placing the final punctuation mark at the end of a sentence. It tells your nervous system, we're done for today, you're safe now. And the beauty is, it doesn't need to be big. It could be lighting a candle, jotting 3 quick thoughts in a notebook, making a short gratitude list, dimming the lights, or playing a calming playlist. For me, it was music. I created a nighttime playlist, gentle guitar and soft ambient sounds. And over time, the moment I pressed play, my body instantly relaxed. I didn't have to think about it anymore. The ritual trained my brain to let go. Let's pause for some vocabulary here. Ritual. A ritual is a regular practice or routine that carries meaning. Example: her evening ritual included reading a few pages before bed. Say it with me, ritual. A ritual is more than a habit, it's a signal to your mind and body. Another useful word here is closure. Closure means a sense of completion or conclusion. Example: Writing in her journal gave her closure at the end of the day. Repeat after me, closure. That's what your evening ritual gives you, the closure your mind craves. Think about it this way. If you finish your day without closure, your brain stays open, like a browser with too many tabs. But if you give it closure, you can finally shut those tabs down. You rest deeply, and you wake up lighter. So here's a challenge for tonight. Don't just wind down. Instead, design a closing ritual that works for you. Maybe it's stretching for 5 minutes. Maybe it's making tea. Maybe it's writing a single line in a journal. Today, I did my best. Keep it small, keep it meaningful, and let it become your signal that the day is complete. And this leads us naturally to something even more important, how you measure your day. Because here's the trap I fell into for years, and maybe you felt it too. I used to end my evenings with pressure, not peace. I'd crawl into bed replaying everything I hadn't finished. Didn't reply to that email. Didn't complete the to-do list. Didn't get my workout in. The list was endless. And even though I had actually accomplished things, I went to sleep feeling like a failure. Let's slow down here. The word pressure is key. Pressure means a force or stress that pushes on you, sometimes from outside, sometimes from inside. Example, she felt pressure to complete everything perfectly before bed. Say it with me, pressure. Falling asleep under pressure destroys rest. Because you can't feel both pressured and peaceful at the same time. So here's the shift that changed everything for me. Instead of ending the day with pressure, I decided to end it with pride. Pride is that warm, powerful feeling when you know you've done something meaningful. Example, she felt quiet pride for cooking a healthy meal instead of ordering fast food. Say it with me, pride. When you go to sleep with pride instead of pressure, you restore not only your body, but also your self-trust. And here's the secret. Pride doesn't come only from big achievements. It grows from small, quiet victories. Saying no when it's hard. Stopping at 1 episode instead of binging 3. Choosing to stretch instead of scroll. Those tiny moments whisper to you, I show up for myself. So tonight, before bed, try asking yourself one question. What did I do today that honored me? The answer doesn't have to be huge. Maybe you practiced English for 10 minutes. Maybe you cooked instead of ordering takeout. Maybe you simply gave yourself permission to rest. Whatever it is, let that be enough. That shift from pressure to pride will change not only how you sleep, but how you live. And if you've been listening closely, you'll notice something powerful. We've talked about how to reclaim your evenings, how to redesign your environment, how to create closure, and how to replace pressure with pride. But there's one last piece that ties it all together, the mindset that transforms evenings from wasted hours into the most valuable part of your day. And that's exactly where we're heading next. Here's the truth. Your evenings are more than just leftover hours. They are the foundation of your future. Because what you do when the world quiets down, that time no one else controls, decides whether your dreams grow or disappear. Think of it this way. Your 9 to 5 pays your bills. But your 5 to 9 builds your future. And the question is simple. Which version of yourself are you feeding during those hours? The one that scrolls until midnight, or the one that takes back even 20 minutes to grow? Now, let's tie this to your English learning. Evenings are the perfect time to practice, quietly, calmly, without pressure. 10 minutes of focused listening, like what you're doing right now, is worth far more than an hour of distracted study. And if you repeat it daily, it compounds. Before you know it, you don't just learn words, you live them. Speaking of words, let's slow down and practice a few from today's episode. Don't just listen, say them with me. Feel them in your mouth. Make them part of your English. First up, exhausted. Exhausted means completely drained, not just tired. Example, she was so exhausted after work that she skipped dinner and went straight to bed. Say it slowly, exhausted. Your body's way of asking for kindness. Next, randomly. Randomly means something happens without a plan, by chance. Example, I clicked on one video and then randomly watched 5 more. Say it with me, randomly. That randomness is how so many evenings slip away. Now, disappoint. To disappoint means to let someone down, even yourself. Example, I felt disappointed when I didn't follow my plan. Say it clearly, disappoint. But remember, one small win flips the story. Another powerful word, reclaim. To reclaim means to take back what was yours. Example, she reclaimed her evenings by switching off notifications after 7 p.m. Say it proudly, reclaim. That's what you're doing here, taking back your time. And here's one more that I love to close on, pride. Pride is that quiet, powerful feeling when you know you've honored yourself. Example, he ended the day with pride after cooking instead of ordering takeout. Say it warmly, pride. That's the feeling I want you to carry into tonight. Remember this, you don't need a perfect routine. You don't need hours of free time. You only need awareness, small steps, and the willingness to end your evening with pride instead of pressure. Because when you do, everything changes. You rest better. You wake stronger. And little by little, you become the version of yourself you've always wanted to be. So if your evenings have been messy or meaningless, maybe tonight you try something different. Don't zone out. Don't vanish into the trapdoor of scrolling or the cliffhanger of another episode. Instead, reclaim your time. Choose one small action that honors you and give yourself closure with a ritual that makes you proud. Because here's the promise. When you take care of your evenings will take care of you. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with a final reflection. Ask yourself, what will I do tonight that honors me? Write it down, say it out loud, or even whisper it quietly. Let that be your starting point. And remember, your progress doesn't stop here. If you're ready to keep building momentum, I've prepared the next step for you. Just click on the video I've handpicked. It's waiting right here on the screen. Don't let tonight vanish. Keep the journey alive. Thank you so much for joining me today on Talk Easy, English Podcasts. I'm Laura, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay kind to yourself, protect your evenings, and trust me, they'll build your future.